Okay, hello everybody. Here we go with our next pre-teach video. You've been doing lots and lots of work on fractions in class, adding and subtracting them, comparing the different sizes, finding equivalent fractions. And next week in class, you're going to be looking at finding fractions of amounts. So we're going to have a go at doing that now, and I've got one for you to try over the weekend, and then we're going to look at that on Monday. So let's just recap what a fraction is. So here we have a fraction 5/6. And here's a reminder of what everything is. You already know, but just to go over it one more time. The 5 represents the numerator, and the numerator is the number of equal parts that you have out of the total number of parts. And the denominator, which in this case is a 6, the denominator tells you the total number of equal parts that your one whole has been divided into. Okay, so my whole has been divided into 6 equal parts, and you have 5 of them, 5 out of 6. And you can see that here, represented as a bar. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. This is my one whole. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of those 6 parts shaded in. So I've got 5, 6. If I had all 6 shaded in, like so, then I would have 6 over 6. 6 as my numerator, because I've got all of the equal parts, and 6 as my denominator, because the total number of parts is 6. And if I've got all, my numerator and denominator is the same, I've got 6 out of 6, and that's the same as having one whole. And you'll be doing a little bit of work on that this week as well, looking at improper fractions. Okay, so that's a recap. Now let's have a look at finding a fraction of an amount. Okay, so we've got 5/6 of 72 grams. Okay, we'll come back to look at that grams in a second when we think of this in the context of a word problem. So, the first thing we're going to do is, again, we're going to represent this as a bar, because that's the easiest way to look at this fraction if we represent it as a bar. Now, this time, my bar is going to represent the amount that I'm trying to find the fraction of. Okay, so I've got 72 grams. I'm going to draw my bar. And my bar is going to represent the total amount, and the total amount in this case is 72 grams. Okay, so I'm going to just show that with an arrow. That's my total bar, the whole bar, and that's representing 72 grams. So I'm just going to write that up there. Now remember, the denominator always tells you the total number of parts your whole is divided into. So my denominator is 6, so I know that my bar, my 72 grams, has been divided into 6 equal parts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you'd obviously do this a lot neater with a ruler. So we've got our 6 equal parts. So my 72 grams has been divided into 6 equal parts. Now I'm going to show that, at the same time as drawing this as a bar, I'm going to show that as a calculation as well. So I've taken my 72 grams and I've divided it into 6 equal parts. So we know what that's going to look like as a calculation. It's going to be 72, and I've divided it, shared it into 6 equal parts. So 72 divided by 6. Okay, putting the equals, you'll leave yourself a lot more room to write the answer in there, but that's what it should look like. That's stage 1. Now remember, my numerator tells me the total number of parts that I have. So I've got 5 out of these 6 parts. Okay, so I can show that at the same time as well, if you want. And I'm going to again do that with an arrow. And I've done my arrow for the total on the top, so I'll do this at the bottom. I need to see. I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those equal parts. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and the key word that I've been repeating over and over again, is equal. Each of these parts is equal, okay? So I've got my 72 grams, I've shared it into 6 equal parts. I'm going to work that out now. 72 divided by 6. If you know your 6 times tables, you should know straight away what 72 divided by 6 is. If you're finding that a bit rugby and you're still struggling a little bit, you can just do a list of your 6 times tables and until you get to 72, okay? So I'll do that this time, just so we can see what that would look like as well. So 6, 2 groups of 6 is 12, 3 groups of 6, 18, 4 groups of 6 is 24, 5 groups of 6 is 30, 6 groups of 6, 36, 7 groups of 6, 42, 8 groups of 6, 48. 9 groups of 6, 54. 10 groups of 6, 60. 11 groups of 6, 66. And 12 groups of 6, 72. So I've got 12 groups of 6. When I divide 72 into groups of 6, that will give me 12 groups. Okay? So I now know that each of these equal parts is worth 12. I'm going to write that into each of the sections. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. 6 equal parts, 6 groups of 12 equals 72, and 72 is my total. Okay? So, I know what each equal part is worth now, and I know that the numerator tells you how many of those parts I've got. I've got 5 of them. So I need to now work out what 5 groups of 12 is. There's lots of ways I could do that. I could simply do a times table and do 12 multiplied by 5 to work out 5 groups of 12. If I've done my list here, that might be able to help me as well. Or I know the total is 72, and there's only one section I don't have, so I could do 72, take away that 12. But the best way to do it is multiply however many groups you need by your numerator. So I've got 12 in each group, and I've got 5 sections that I'm looking for. So it's 12 multiplied by 5, which equals 60. Okay, go back and look at what my unit of measure was. It's grams, so 60 grams. Okay, and then I'll rewrite my whole number sentence below. So 5/6 of 72 grams equals 60 grams. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's just recap what I've just done. The question was 5/6 of 72 grams. So I've taken my 72 grams and represented it as a bar. The denominator always tells me the total number of parts the whole amount has been divided into. It's been divided into 6 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've taken that 72 and I've shown that as a calculation. 72 divided into 6 equal parts equals 12. So I've got 12 in each of these parts. That all adds up to 72. And I've got 5 of those parts. So 5 groups of 12 equal 60. So my answer is 60 grams. Okay, you can see that this is my 5/6. This 1/6 that's left is equal to 12. Okay, 12 grams. And that's it, really, for finding fractions of amounts. So 5/6 of 72 grams equals 60 grams. I could then write that as a word problem, just to put it into context. I could say that, I don't know, let's say this is sugar, and I needed 5/6 of 72 grams of sugar when I'm baking a cake. How many grams of sugar will I need? Okay, and so I'll work it all out, and it looks like I need 60 grams of sugar in the cake that I'm making. Okay, so your job now over the weekend is to have a go at doing one of these. And here, before we look at the one you're going to be doing, here's a reminder. So the reminder 1, the denominator tells you the total number of equal parts your whole has been divided into. The numerator tells you how many of those parts you have. That's just a recap. Number 2, when you're working out that fraction of an amount, draw a bar to help you visualize the problem, and then show the calculation alongside the bar, just like I did. Right, here you go. Here's your problem. 4/7 of 161 centimeters. So remember, show it using a bar model. Write the calculation beside it, so you can do both at the same time as you're going through it, and then see if you can write it as a word problem, and we'll look at those. Bring those back into class on Monday, and we'll look at those together. Okay, good luck. Well done.